Hello and welcome to Get Celebritized. I'm your host, Aurea McGarry, and I am excited and honored to have this very special episode where we are going to empower and inspire women. Now, guys, you can listen in too, but today it's going to be all about women and how women can change this world. And I've got on the most incredible, most dynamic woman who is taking this inspiration, taking this mission all across the world today. And her name is Clara Capano. And she's been seen on CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox. Let me just tell you a little bit about her before I bring her beautiful self up here. Clara is an international speaker and trainer. She's a best-selling author and host of Working Women's Channel. I love that. I want to talk about the Working Women's Channel and Living Real TV. She's the founder and CHO, which is Chief Harmony Officer of Capano Speaking and Training, and she's the creator of CLARATY Success Method. And we're going to get into what that CLARATY Success Method actually is and how it can help you. So go grab some girlfriends, go grab some ladies that you know. Let's get this party started with none other, the one, the only, Clara. Come on up.
Hi, thank you for having me here. I have been so excited to be on the show with you. Thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you here. I love a great gal pal that comes on and says, women, we can do this. And you have taken that to a whole nother level.
Oh, yeah.
So excited to talk to you about this. So let's jump right in. What do you do? And I want to talk about the clarity model, but first tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do so they can get excited about that first.
Exactly. Well, what I really do is I help professional women, level up and be able to create a platform to go after their goals, all without having to sacrifice their life along the way, and really teaching them key strategies to help them be more in control of their time, their life, and their business. So again, they can learn how to make more money, get more productive, and do it all on their terms.
Okay, Claire, that sounds too good to be true.
It does, huh?
I've been a mompreneur for 37 years. And I know along the way you have to make sacrifices, but there's a way to do it where my daughters always felt involved. They always knew what mom was doing. They were involved when I was earning these awards and doing things. So I incorporated them into my world. So I didn't have to go to work and then come home and be two different people. Mm-hmm. They were part of this because I know that kids, they do what they see. They earn from what you do. Kids do what you do, not what you say anyway. Right. So what is your premise on how you can have work-life balance as a woman with kids and hobbies and things? Because I know we really care about being there for our children, but we can't be helicopter moms and be there for everything.
Exactly.
How does that work in your workshops?
So I became a mompreneur when my son was about 3 years old. I became a single mom. And, you hit on a really key idea of this word sacrifice. And what I prefer to do is to look at trade-offs, because I personally don't believe in work-life balance. I don't think that exists, because balance is just a moment in time. So that's why I really like to focus on work-life harmony and how can, again, you bring it together to make it work in a fashion that supports you and your definition of success. So again, knowing that it's not about being there 100% of the time, it's about learning that when you are there, you are 100% present. So it goes back to really setting clear boundaries and expectations and communicating with everyone, really understanding what is your role as the CEO of your life and your business, because regardless of what you do, you are the CEO of your little circle of the world. And you have to start showing up that way, which means you can't do everything. Now, let me stop for a moment.
You can't.
The truth is, you can do anything you want. The reality is you shouldn't do everything.
Amen. Preach that.
To do it. And that's really what I help women do, is to get clear on what is it that they really need to focus their time and energy on, and how to really show up strong in those areas, and then learn how to delegate and, again, let go of some of those other things that could keep them from really being present where they need to be present.
So what's your mantra on the word no?
No is Fantastic. Actually, I'm going to steal this from Christy Wright, who is another business entrepreneur. And I love what she says is that an honest no is better than a dishonest yes.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes. Get doing
Mhm.
so much. My mother taught me that years ago. She goes, I used to get myself in trouble by saying yes to everything. It's how I kind of came out of the room. I said, yes, yes. I'd even say yes to dates that I didn't want to go on. And my mom would say, you're doing that poor boy more harm by saying yes
Exactly.
than trying to find out how to get out of it and stand them up or not go than just saying no in the beginning. But I was
Well, yeah.
terrible at saying no.
Well,
So
and we do that because we want to, take care of others and we want to be kind to others. And many of us truly do want to help. But what we need to understand is that when we say yes to something, we have to say no to something else. And
yeah.
so we need to have checks and balances in. And when we know our true goals and vision, it's easier to learn what is it we need to say yes to and no to. And one of the things that I had to learn is that when you try to do everything, you really can't do anything well.
That's so true. And
Mhm.
do you find that with women, especially who have kids, that if we know that it's to the best advantage of our children to say no? Because I know that that's what makes our world go round. I mean, and we're saying yes to everybody else. And then we turn around and realize, wow, that means I can't say yes to my kids, or I
Correct.
can't put food on the table because I'm doing all this volunteer work and I'm not saying yes to income producing
Mhm.
activities that could benefit my own children while I help save the world.
Exactly. And that's what you have to do. And that's why, again, you have to look at the trade offs. And so, what I really teach a lot of the women that I work with is before you agree to do something, ask yourself, what will I have to give up? What will I have to say no to? And then you have to start paying attention to those. I've been offered speaking opportunities, but when I look at them, they're going to either take me away from my home too long, but maybe it may not even be the right ideal client. So again, you have to look at things and make these business decisions. Is there someone else that can handle it better than I can, who can get to it quicker than I can? And again, what are the things that I would have to miss? And does that make sense?
For sure. And you've got this wonderful method that when I was looking you up, I saw this clarity method.
Yes.
And it's an acronym. Can you talk to us about that clarity method? Because I think
Yes.
this will really help women know that whether they do or don't, I'm sure many will want to tap into you by the time this episode is over. And this clarity method kind of puts it in a nutshell of what you're all about.
Exactly. Well, I hated my name growing up because I grew up in the 80s and I always wanted the personalized license plate and all of those things. And all of my siblings have very common names, Lisa, Paul, and Amy. And I'm like, where did you get my name? And now I have come to realize my parents were geniuses because this is what I do is I bring people clarity because when people are confused, they cannot go forward. But when they are clear, they feel confident and in
Yeah.
control to be able to take action. And that's what I want to do.
A
So I
confused
took my
mind does
name.
nothing.
Yeah. So I took my name and I have developed the Clarity Success Method. And
So
what I do is I walk people through these 7 steps. The first step, which is the C, is all about helping them get their clarity of their vision. What is it that they are working towards and why is that so important to them? Because this will help them make higher quality decisions and again get their mindset together so they know where their focus and attention needs to go.
Clara, you've got to see my, oh, it just reminded me before we get to the next one. You've got to see my TEDx because what you just said just brought me back to the TEDx I did when the ending of my TEDx is about when when you are clear on your legacy, it
Mhm.
is what gives you the clarity of mind to make the decisions of your life. And you've got to see, you love it because it's all
Yeah.
about being clear on the legacy you want to leave, which will help you make those decisions with ease because you know whether it's the right decision or it does not benefit you, your family, and your ultimate legacy. Keep going. I love this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then
Perfect.
we go into the L, which is all about learning how to leverage our time. So teaching key
Mm.
strategies because time is the great equalizer. We all have the same amount of time. And so the idea is we need to start learning how to invest our time the right way. So we go through strategies on that. Then what we do is we talk about taking the right action. As I mentioned earlier, even though we are capable of doing everything, it doesn't mean we should. So we want to start to, again, use our vision and then say, okay, what are the core fundamentals that we need to focus on with consistency? And as much as we need to take action, we also need to rest and reflect.
I love that that's your R in clarity.
Yeah.
Rest and reflection.
Exactly, because we
That's what we
cannot
never
take
do.
care of others. We cannot achieve our goals when we are depleted. So the idea is we have to take care of ourselves in order to be able to serve others at the highest level. Then it's all about value. What we know is that money flows to value. So if you want to
Yes.
make more money, you got to be delivering more value. So I teach them how to first identify what makes them different and unique and what is the value they deliver. Then
Mm.
we tie that to how to articulate that to our clients. Because at the end of the day, if the clients don't understand the value, they may not choose to work with us. So
Yes,
it's
all the
an
pain.
identifying and articulating. Then, yes.
I love the next one. I think you're going to go to my favorite one. Go ahead.
T is all about tracking and measuring.
No, the other one before that.
Oh,
Action.
action. No, we did action. That was the first A.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I reversed them, I think, on what's on my website. So I apologize.
That's all right. I love action. All right, keep going.
So taking the right actions, and then the T is all about tracking and measuring, because
Which
not
most people
everything
don't
works.
do, Clara. Most people fail because they do not track. They do not inspect what they expect. And they do all the actions, keep going. They're doing all the fun stuff. And they forget to track. Is this working? Are they getting new clients? Are they profiting? Are they spending more than they're making? So keep preaching this part because this is good.
Absolutely. And that's what it is, if things are working, how can we keep it going and maybe do that 1 degree tweak to make it just that little bit better? If things are not working, we need to start examining why. I love that you said that, the inspect to get what you expect.
Yeah.
You have to start looking at it. Are we not doing it? Do we not have a system? Do we not understand it? So we can't keep doing the same things. That's the definition of insanity. So again, we have to track and measure so that we can grow. And then finally, the why is all about, yes, it's time to celebrate. We put off the celebrations far too long. And even though we might want to have a big goal and a big celebration for when we hit that, we've got to celebrate the little wins along the way, because that's what keeps us in the game and keeps us energized and excited.
I'm so glad you say that too, because I teach my clients always, and I've learned this way back in the day when my Mary Kay days. Most people know that I was trained within the Mary Kay days, Zig Ziglar, John Maxwell, all of them. Mary Kay herself. My age is showing. Mary Kay actually trained me. And it was all about celebrating the action, because we can't always control what's going to happen. We can't control the yeses. We can get better at overcoming objections. We can get better at our presentation. But still, at the end of the day, people can say yes or can say no. But we always had the numbers games. Like today, I will make 10 calls. And then when you make those 10 calls, even if all 10 were no and you overcome as many objections you could, and it still was no, 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 celebrate because you made the 10 calls.
Exactly. And what I always tell people is, in this world of so many things that are out of our control, the only 2 things that we truly can control is our mindset and then the actions that we take. And you've got to get out there and make those things. And when you have a mindset of strength and positivity and abundance, and then you pair that by taking action, you're going to be unstoppable.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of unstoppable, Clara, on this show, I love to give the audience some inspiration on what could have stopped you. You're so vivacious, you're so positive, you're so good at what you do. But I know along the way, somewhere, something might have happened that could have derailed you and stopped you from being Clara the Clarity Queen. So what in your life could have stopped you, and how did you not let it stop you?
Absolutely. And, this is a deep conversation, and I want to make sure that I'm talking about this from a place of love, because I would say the number one thing that could have held me back was staying in my marriage. And I was married to a wonderful man, and we still have a very strong relationship, and we share a child together, but we were not the best fit for each other. And if I would have stayed, I could have been completely comfortable financially, emotionally. I could have had those things, but I could not have realized my true self. And so I think, taking that leap of faith and knowing that I had to speak my truth. So that was one thing that I had to let go of, as hard as it was, because I knew that I had to follow my path.
You're talking to women now, so I want to be really clear, because I dive a little deeper in this show. Okay, you're looking at this past tense. You're glad you did it. But when you were about to make that move, what was your aha moment to know that was the right move to make? Because many women are probably in that situation wondering, should I maybe I should go. What was that defining moment said, this is the right decision and I can't stay in this?
Yeah. So I was having a moment where my son had just been born, and I was kind of, again, in the midst of new motherhood and feeling like a failure and all of these things.
Aw.
And my ex-husband said to me, why don't you just quit your job and stay home? And from his perspective, he was trying to be so kind and be supportive. For me, that was the worst thing that somebody could have said to me, because I love to work. And that was, again, something that I really wanted to do and deliver impact. And it was in that moment that I just realized we had two different visions of how we wanted this to go. And I knew that he did not truly understand what lit me up on the inside. Because if he truly knew who I was, he never would have said something like that.
How
And it was
long
in
was
that
it before you
moment.
left after that?
It was probably within about 6 to 9 months after that. So we actually
Really?
separated when my son was a year and a half.
Wow. How
Yeah,
old's your son now?
18.
Look at you go.
Yeah.
What was
Mhm.
the best thing about that move?
Again, just it led me into a different level of strength that I never knew that I would have. And, being able to be a global influencer that shows women that no matter what it is that you face, there is always something that is going to be able to help you, that we are stronger when we come together.
Mhm.
My whole goal is to impact 1 million lives or more this year. I just wouldn't have been able to do that because I would have held back and I would have played small. And it taught me how to really lean in. And I started to also surround myself with people who wanted bigger things as well.
That's
So I
important.
got in the right group that really, again, elevated not only my spirit, but my drive and my ability to connect.
Oh, that's a great point, because I know, again, I really talk to the women here about the nuts and bolts. So,
Mhm.
one, I want to ask you two questions real quick. One, any regrets? And two, you're saying you got into the right group. That alone is a big milestone. And the women are probably thinking, well, how did you get in what right group? Where'd you find them? So, first
Mhm.
time, do you have any regrets? Then, how did you find the right group? Because that's an obstacle in itself.
Yeah. I really don't have any regrets because I don't think you can. Everything leads you to a time. I would say if there was anything I might have done differently is just go after my dreams sooner.
Okay.
And, but again, if that would have happened, I might not have had my son and the career that
Yeah.
I have now. So I love where I am today. And if I had to go through all of that again to get to where I am today, it was well worth it. All the bumps and bruises as well.
I love
And
it.
then finding my tribe, a lot of it was, seeking out other people and asking. I am a firm believer in the phrase success leaves clues. So I started
Right.
to seek out who are people who are doing things that I want to do. Case in point, you. I want to win an Emmy. I want to, be on the red carpet and doing those things. So I need to connect and learn from people who have been doing those things. So not being afraid to share my goals and to ask for help. Early on, and because I entered into my career right after college and being young and looking younger at the time, I felt that asking for help was a sign of weakness. And I had
Mhm.
to get over that and learn that no, that is a sign of strength because it shows your tenacity, it shows your grit
It
and
shows
how
your wisdom.
yeah,
Smart people
and
ask
how you
smart
want to get
questions.
better. So I think, doing that and really just asking for the connections. And, what's the worst that could happen? Somebody says no, somebody hangs up on me. Okay, but what's the best thing that could happen? And really, again, getting excited about the opportunities that it can lead to. And again, really just seeking that out and knowing that I've earned a place at the table.
You really have. And I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper, because 18 years ago, we didn't have the social media connections that we
Mhm.
do today. Even just 3 years ago, since the pandemic, I
Right.
mean, how you and I met through the Sea Rock experience, and the people I know from Clubhouse, which is an audio app that we jumped on during the pandemic, which
Right.
might not have ever happened if not for the pandemic. So, what is the difference between how you found people 18 years ago when you were first starting to how you find people like myself and other women you want to know these days?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely easier now. I
Yeah.
struggled with it early on because honestly, I felt very alone. I felt that nobody understood me. So I did sort of hold back a little bit. What I did is I actually seeked out women who were probably 20 to 30 years older than me. And I would go to coffee with them and take them to lunch.
When you
And
said seek them out back, let's just say 15 years ago,
so through
where? On the
mentors.
internet or
No,
in
it
your
was more
Rotary Club?
grassroots. Yeah, it was more grassroots. So going to my mother, who was a career woman in a time where most women were not career women,
Yeah.
and going to her friends who
Okay.
ran their own companies, and seeking them out, really trying to go to in-person networking events, the professional women's organizations, and going there and being a fly on the wall. So I tended to be a little bit more of an old spirit. I really wanted to learn from my mentors, my elders, so I can do that.
I love that.
Now,
That's smart though. Pause there for a
it
second.
is,
I
yeah.
want people to hear that because so many times they push aside the elder, and I feel like I'm an elder, right? But it's so smart that you were young and you sought out your mother's group of women that were successful. How smart is that to take wise counsel? That's what they do in the East. That's what they do in China and Japan and other places where they seek out the counsel of the elderly. They've been around the block. And
They have, and they
I
know.
wish I was smart enough when I was younger to do that, but I
Yeah.
kind of actually did with having Mary Kay as my mentor and Zig Ziglar, older people. I
Exactly.
didn't value as much as I do now.
Yeah. So I think doing that. And then now, definitely, social media has helped so much.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And what I have found is the more that I speak my truth, the more that I ask about who can you connect me with? These are some of the goals. Everybody's coming out of the woodwork. And again, I'm part of an amazing networking group called Success Champions. And again, it's like, those are my people. And, we meet on a weekly basis, and just the idea sharing, the opening of doors, and all of these things. So you do have to, again, seek it out. But I think it really comes back to, again, really connecting with your vision, who you are in your voice, and not being afraid to speak it.
So smart. You said another very smart thing I want people to grasp. You ask. You ask about other people. You ask for who do you know. You reach out. We're on the Clubhouse app all the time, and so many people will sit there and just, be the fly on the wall, but they never reach out with the DM. They never introduce themselves to somebody they're really, resonating with. And that's what it takes to build those relationships. We're all just people on all these audio apps, whether you're on Twitter Spaces or LinkedIn Audio or Clubhouse or Clapper or whatever. If you're going to be on there with gusto. Like you said, join the table, join the conversation, reach out, introduce yourself. Because I know I'm a keynote speaker on so many of them, and I love to hear from people. I love people say, I love what you said. I'm a regular teacher in some of them, in the mornings, and I love when people reach out, said, I love what you said. Can we talk? And that's why I have, like very simply, I have my discovery calls. People can call and just have a discovery call. I feel like a mentor. It might not be me you need next, but it might be Clara you need next. And I'll refer you to them.
And that's what it is. It's have that genuine curiosity to learn more, to grow more. And again, have those true connections with people. And that's what I, say all the time to people too, is, have a clarity chat with me, and let's just talk about what you're trying to connect with. Again, if I can help you, I will. If I'm not the right fit, I guarantee you, I know someone who can be a good fit for you.
I love that. Now tell me about, I know you're a best-selling author. So tell us about what the title of the book is and what it was about.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm just getting ready to launch my third book, which I'm super excited about, and that will be a bestseller. That actually comes out in July of this year. So my first book is a compilation of my blogs, and it's called Find Your Focus, 52 Weeks of Clarity. So the idea is you read the book over the course of a year. And every week you take a new passage and you read the passage, but then you journal about how you're going to implement those key items into your week so you can have a successful, focused, purposeful week. The second book was a collaboration that came out over COVID, and that is called Women Who Boss Up. And so it's me and 15 other women just sharing our stories of strength and, empowerment and resiliency. And my third book.
Wait a minute, before you get to the third one. That second book, okay? You were in there with 15 other women to boss up. What was one of your key tips that you gave the women to boss up?
Oh my gosh. Again, to not live in fear.
Okay.
To again, don't focus on the worst that can happen, focus on the best that can happen.
Oh, that's good. That's a hashtag right there. Focus on what we're thinking. Oh my gosh, but what if? Yeah, but what if?
What if?
Yeah.
Exactly. And use that as your fuel to get you excited to go forward.
Are those available on your website, Clara
They are
Capano?
available on my website.
I bet
And
you. Let's sign up.
what I do is I always donate a portion to St. Jude's. That's my charity of
Mm,
choice. So
I
that
love that.
whenever anybody buys a book, they know that they're helping a good cause along the way too.
I love that. Clara, you're such a good person to be on this show. Earn more, live more, give more. Good for you.
Mhm.
I love that. All
Thank you.
right. So we want to support you being a bestseller in July. Tell us about the new upcoming book and
Yep.
what it's about,
So
how we can get the book.
so the next book is a gift from me to all those other mompreneurs out there. So it's called The Mother of All Success Manuals: How to Control Your Time, Lose the Guilt, and Find Harmony Between Work and Life. And so I've taken
That's
a
good.
lot of my story to, again, break it down into digestible and easily workable strategies so that today's working women and working moms, again, have that guidebook. So after each chapter, there's action steps. So it's a workable guidebook and manual to help them work through communications, balancing, building their skill
I
sets,
love it.
finding mentors, all of those items.
Well, I'm going to ask you this question then. Do you have, and if you don't, you should, a focus group or a course or a workshop that goes along with this book launch? Because I think it'd be hugely successful for you
Yeah.
to have a workshop, maybe whether it's a 6-week or 8-week workshop, to walk through this book, then get testimonials of all the women that have done all these cool, milestones through this, kind of like a book club for this book. What for you?
Absolutely. And I do. One is if people want to get on the wait list for the book, again, it'll be launched on July 25th. They can go to my website, and under the resources, they can get on the wait list. And then I do have an on-demand course that allows us to bring in the workable systems of doing things on our time schedule, because again, we have to control our time. And
Right.
so it walks them through that clarity success model so they can create their own success plan that is customized and personalized. And then after they do that, they get a one-on-one call with me. And then every 90 days, we do 90-day action planning so that they can create their plan, but then stay accountable to it at the same time. I have a women's mastermind group that they can join. And that really, again, helps us break down. So I bring in guest speakers. I do 30-day action planning. I just do whatever I can do to, again, collaborate and make these women stronger. And so those are some of the things that I do. And then I just have a free Facebook group called Smart Women, Smart Choices.
I love that. So the Smart Women, Smart Choices Facebook is a free group. So these other workshops are pay to play. They're good, as they should be, because people, they show up when they pay, even if it's a little bit or if it's a lot. It helps them have skin in the game to make a commitment. So I'm so glad for that, because I definitely want to get your information so I can share with the women in my life that I know, because women, we need to stick together. We need those focus groups, and we love a good book club. We love to go through a book together. Women, we go to the bathroom together. If you're in a restaurant, we say, I'm going to the bathroom.
So
Anybody want to come? We have to have an entourage for everything we do.
Yeah.
Men don't get it. They're
I
like, why do you
know.
go to the bathroom together? They'll never get it. So reading a book is more fun together. So I'm interested, because I'm definitely going to go to your website.
I love it.
Get
And
involved.
yeah, I mean, one of the reasons I made it more on demand than, say, a 6 or a 12-week program is we're busy. And it's so hard to sign up for something that's going to add one more appointment to our schedule. So this way they can really work through the modules on their own time schedule, really go deep and be thoughtful with it. But then again, have the follow-up of working one-on-one to tighten it up and make sure they have that plan solid. And then the consistency of reviewing it to adjust it, adapt it, reflect on it every 90 days.
That's fantastic. And what do you like best about what you're doing right now? And what do you like least?
I love what I do. I just, knowing that each and every day I can help somebody so that they can feel stronger and feel good about who they are. I don't want that woman to be sitting there on the bathroom floor crying and feeling like a failure. I think that we all have those moments. And if I can just help one woman feel stronger and, more in control of her life, it's not about being perfect. It's about embracing that imperfection that we have and knowing that we are perfectly imperfect. So, those are some of the things that I love most. Well, what do I dislike? All the admin stuff, that comes along with it. I just want to be on stage and on shows, and I just want to be sharing and doing all the fun stuff.
Absolutely. Do you have a team?
I have a very small team of some of the people who do a lot of the admin work behind the scenes for me. And then I have a team more on the home front because it's hard when you're an entrepreneur to delegate out some of these things because it's our
Yeah.
baby. So, having the house cleaner and the courier and those kind of things to sort of free me up so I can invest more of that time doing the things that I love.
Good for you. What's your best advice for a mompreneur right now as we're in June 2023, coming out of the pandemic? A lot of them had to pivot. What say you is some of your best advice for women that want to start living their passion?
Yeah. So I would say two things. One is you really have to communicate your goals, your schedule, all of those things with your close circle. So for me, I started doing this when Nicholas was probably about 8 or 9 is I would sit down and go over my goals with him. I even include my ex and, his wife so that we're all on the same page because I can't achieve what I need to achieve without them behind me. So you have to communicate and really, ask for what you need because you need that support. The other thing I would do is really have tight bubbles of focus. I call this bubble time. So this is what I do. And I started small with maybe 25 to 30-minute increments. And now I do it in 45 to 50-minute increments where whatever it is that I'm working on, I go into my bubble and I block out all distractions for 45 minutes. That really allows me to be 100% present and focus on what I need to focus on without all those incoming alarms, alerts, and everything. Even, with Nicholas, I'll tell him, I'm going into my bubble. Do you need anything before I go into my bubble?
That's
When,
smart.
yeah. And when I was young and I was mom, even if we went to the park for 45 minutes, I would be at the park with him, 100% present. Then I would say, let me go get a snack. And then I could check in with my voicemails and my emails. But we have to have those tight bubbles of focus because with our clients, with our family, with everything, again, it's not about being there 100%. It's about making sure that you're 100% there when you are there. So this really helps you to be present so that you can serve everyone at the highest level possible.
That really is just exactly what I think everybody needs to hear because we've heard it before and it makes such a difference. And we do it in action. I used to tell my daughter when she was 5, okay, mommy's going on the phone now. Do you need anything? Don't come running down the stairs calling my name because this is phone call time. And when I'm done with this, we'll go shopping. We'll get ice cream.
Exactly.
So there was such a win-win. She would be able to
Mhm.
pick out toys that something she wanted for the month. I say, if mommy makes phone calls, then I can have the money to buy this. And so when you incorporate them in that, not just shut the door and leave me alone, they don't know why. You
Mhm.
incorporate them in this and they start winning their goals. That's something
Exactly.
Mary Cash taught us a long time ago. And they get to earn things that are age appropriate, whether it's a
Right.
bicycle or a car,
Well,
or
yeah, and again, they become part of your success with you. I was asked to
you
speak at an
duplicate
event.
it. You become
Yeah,
successful.
I went to speak at an event in Madrid back in April, and it just so happened that I would have to leave on his birthday. And when I sat down and talked with him, his response was, "Mom, you need to go. This is
Yeah,
what you've been working towards. We can celebrate my birthday the day before." But it's
exactly.
like they become part of it with you when they understand.
He's probably saying, Mom, why aren't you taking me with me? I'll take a
Yes,
trip to
that was part of
Madrid.
the question too.
My daughters would be saying, You're not going without us. I'm like,
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes,
I love that. But I think it just makes all the joy because, again, children will do what you do, not what you say. So, in
exactly.
corporate, because they don't learn enough about business in school.
No.
So they go into school, they're going to learn their reading, writing, arithmetic, but this is what they learn from us: the morals, the values, the work ethic, the whether you are always on your phone and never put it down. That workaholic, they'll become that, or they'll become the opposite of that and never want to work because they saw mom just that's all
Mhm.
she did. So it could go either way. But if you show them the work life harmony, then they see that work is good, that my mom has to work hard, and
Mhm.
that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But she includes me. She's at all the best of the best events that I have. She doesn't have to be at every practice, but she's at the key ones, the
Yep.
championship games, the recitals, whatever. And they see that they too then can be a business owner and be there and be in harmony.
Right.
So it's not an all or nothing.
It's not. And it's about those trade-offs and communicating with them and also understanding you're going to mess up. So own it.
Really? You think you're gonna
Apologize.
mess? You don't mess up.
I
Oh,
know.
moms are perfect.
I know. I know. But it's like it makes you human and apologize. And it lets them also learn that it's okay to make mistakes too.
Yeah. Moms have to apologize? Well, now you're
We
just,
do.
skating on thin ice now here, Clara. Okay. I love
Only
it.
like
So
once
good.
or twice, but yeah.
Few times. Well, this is great because again, they will emulate us. They will either become just like us or opposite. So we just have to
Mhm.
be ourselves, be the best we can, have that balance, and keep your fingers crossed, hope for the best.
Exactly.
At least you're living in your joy. You're living in your clarity
Yeah.
because ultimately our kids will make their own choices. They will live their own lives. They'll make their own mistakes. And if we know we did everything we could and we were happy along the way, is so important because so many women, they say, I'll be happy when all of them graduate or I'll get, and I don't want to support like divorce or anything, but
Yeah,
too
yeah.
many women stay unhappily married thinking once the kids are out of high school, then I could leave and be
Mhm.
happy, but I'm going to stay in it because they need us to be together. Nobody needs to be unhappy together.
And that's what I did. And again, when I was, thinking about it, I wasn't being the best version of myself. And my husband was not getting to be the best version.
Yeah.
And if you truly love someone, you should want them to be the best version. And I had to let him go for love, not just for myself, but for him, because he deserved to have that too. And again, we have to understand that taking care of ourselves is not selfish.
No, because you hit on the head. You said something a lot of women say, and to show true love to them, you have to let them go. But what about true love for yourself?
Mhm. Yeah.
You showed true love for Clara that you weren't being the best that you can be. You put that oxygen mask on you first,
Exactly.
and then let everybody else be who they need to be. We can't control the world. So if you're feeling unhappy, you're feeling struggle, don't wait until 10 years down the road when everybody you think is going to be better off and you're going to suck it up. If you're not happy now, address it now, fix it now, do whatever you have to do, counseling, whatever. But
Exactly.
don't just ignore it saying it'll be fine. We'll just wait till then and then I'll
Well,
work
you
on
have
me.
to
Work
address it.
on you now. All women need to
Mhm.
work on them now because
Yep.
kids are smart. They see through it. They know if mom is happy. They really
Absolutely.
do. Well, as I close, I love to ask this question, Clara, because everything I do has to do with legacy. My TEDx was about legacy. My
Mhm.
Live Your Legacy Summit was about living your best legacy. This Emmy Award was for the television show I had, Live Your Legacy TV. So I am going to ask you, Clara, as we close out, how does Clara want to be remembered? What is your legacy on purpose?
Yeah. So, we were talking about this offline. I also have a show, and what my show does is it highlights the resiliency that we have as professional women. And I really want my legacy to be for not just today's woman, but to the next generation, that no matter what we are going through, there is always a way through it. And again, to know that we are not alone. So my big goal and my big legacy is I do want to take my show global, and I want to travel around the world and interview women in all different countries and cultures, talking about how they define success so that we can see that nobody else has to define it for us. We get to define success and we get to create it all on our terms.
That's great. And so, what are they saying about you when it's all said and done? What do you want them to say? Clara was.
Clara brought me clarity.
I love it. That's
Mhm.
great. Oh my gosh, Clara, you're amazing. I want to tap into everything you're doing as well. I love women's community. I love to pull together. I believe it takes a village to raise people, not just children, but it
Mhm.
takes a village for us to live this life. I love the Bible story of Noah's Ark because they came to the boat 2 by 2 and 4 by 4. Even the animals knew to pair up to get to the goal, to get to the destination. They weren't all
Mhm.
just rambling around trying to find the boat. They came together. And I love people and I love being a part of groups of women supporting each other. So you and I are going to be friends forever. I
I
can just
love
see
it.
that. Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm so excited for your new book. I'm going to put your website up one more time, claracapano.com. Look it up. It'll be in all the descriptions. And if she can help you earn more so you can live more, so you can give back more, then my job is done today. Clara, thank you so much for being on the show. You've been such a privilege and an honor to get to know you more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Until next time on Get Celebritized, we'll see you so you can earn more, live more, give back more. And here we go. Have a great day and have clarity.